Hey there and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about how you can create a garden at home that's not just beautiful and full of delicious food, but also surprisingly easy to manage. We're going to discover how working with nature instead of fighting against it can give you this amazing, thriving garden that pretty much takes care of itself.
I mean, we all have that picture in our minds, right? Stepping right outside your door to snip some fresh basil for your pasta, or, that feeling of biting into a warm cherry tomato straight off the vine. It's such a simple, wonderful idea.
But then reality kind of creeps in. You start thinking about the endless watering, the weeding that never stops, and those mysterious bugs that seem to appear out of nowhere. It can feel so overwhelming, like you'd need to be a full-time farmer just to keep a few tomato plants happy. And let's be honest, that feeling is what stops so many of us before we even start.
But what if I told you there's another way? A smarter way to garden that's less about constant chores and more about creating your own tiny, thriving ecosystem. A garden that becomes so balanced and strong that it actually means less work for you and a whole lot more joy.
Okay, let's dive right in. The first and honestly the most important secret to all of this is to completely change how you think about what's under your feet. We're going to stop treating soil like it's just dirt and start treating it like the living, breathing heart of our entire garden.
And believe it or not, this incredible transformation from plain old dirt to living soil, it begins right in your kitchen. Yep, those coffee grounds, eggshells, and veggie peels, they are not trash, not even close. They are pure potential. They're the building blocks for an absolutely amazing garden. We are, of course, talking about compost. And it's really nothing more than nature's perfect recycling system. You're basically just creating a happy home for a little army of good guy microorganisms and worms to do what they do best, break down all that organic stuff and turn it into the richest, most amazing food your plants will ever get.
Now, what I love about this is just how simple the recipe is. Seriously, think of it like baking a cake for your garden. You need your greens. That's all the wet, fresh stuff, like your kitchen scraps. And you need your browns, which is the dry stuff, like fallen leaves or shredded newspaper. You just layer them up, keep the pile about as damp as a wrung-out sponge, and give it a little turn every now and then so it can breathe. That's it. That's the whole magic trick.
And this just shows you it doesn't matter if you have a huge backyard or just a tiny balcony. You can make a simple bin yourself out of some wire, or you can get a neat little tumbler that fits in a corner. The process is exactly the same. It just goes to show that anyone, absolutely anyone, can do this.
And after a few months, this is what you get. This is the payoff. Gardeners call this stuff black gold, and you can totally see why. It's dark, it's crumbly, and it smells just like a healthy forest floor. I promise you, mixing this into your garden is the single most powerful thing you can do to guarantee you'll have success. Okay, so you've built your foundation with that amazing living soil. Now it's time for secret number 2. Designing your garden by taking cues from the most successful, self-sustaining system on the entire planet.
I mean, think about it for a second. Who goes out and fertilizes a forest? Who waters it or pulls the weeds? Nobody. A forest thrives because it's this perfectly designed, layered ecosystem where every single thing works together. If we can just borrow a few of its ideas, we can make our own gardens incredibly resilient.
The very first step here is actually the easiest one of all. You just watch. Before you dig a single hole, just spend a little time getting to know your space. Where's the sun in the morning? What about the afternoon? Is there a spot that always seems to have a puddle after it rains? This observation isn't just a suggestion. It's like you're gathering clues that will help you make all the right choices later on.
And all that detective work leads to brilliant, simple strategies like hydrozoning. It sounds like a technical term, but it's really just common sense. It means you put your thirsty plants, like cucumbers and tomatoes, in those spots where water naturally hangs out. And you put plants that like it dry, like rosemary or lavender, in the sunniest, driest spots. You're basically creating little neighborhoods where everyone is happy, which, you guessed it, means way less work for you.
So we've got our soil, we've got our plant, and now we're at our final secret. And this one is all about shifting our mindset away from fighting a war against bugs and instead focusing on creating a balanced little community where nature actually polices itself.
So here's the crucial point. The old way was to see a bug and immediately reach for some kind of chemical spray to get rid of it. The new, sustainable way is to understand that a healthy garden is supposed to be buzzing with life, and our goal is simply to create a balance where the good guys keep the bad guys in check.
Let's take aphids, for instance. Your first instinct might be to panic, but I want you to try and see them as a dinner bell. Seriously. The presence of a few aphids is just a signal to all the beneficial insects out there that lunch is served. If you spray, sure, you kill the aphids, but you also kill the predators that would have solved the problem for you, for free.
And who are these bodyguards? They're amazing creatures, like ladybugs, especially their larvae, which are just ferocious predators. You've also got delicate lacewings, hoverflies that look like tiny bees, and even birds. They're all part of your garden's personal security detail. Just plant a few flowers they like dill or yarrow, and you're basically putting out a welcome mat and setting up a cafeteria for your security team. And of course, sometimes the smartest solution is also the simplest. Instead of chemicals, a physical barrier, like this lightweight fabric, can protect your young, vulnerable seedlings when they need it most. It's a proactive, gentle way to prevent problems from even starting, and it helps create a garden that's not just productive, but a truly safe and healthy place.
So, we've just covered 3 really powerful secrets for creating a garden that works with nature. Now, let's bring it all together and figure out what your first step could be.
Okay, let's recap real quick. First, you create living soil by turning your kitchen scraps into amazing compost. Second, you plan like a forest by just taking the time to observe your space and put the right plants in the right place. And third, you recruit nature's bodyguards by building a balanced ecosystem instead of fighting against it. And really, it all comes back to this one idea. You're not just planting vegetables. You're creating a living, connected space. This isn't about perfection. Every single seed you plant is another thread in that web, connecting you more deeply to your food, to nature, and to that simple, pure joy of just watching something grow. So I'll leave you with this question. Don't try to do everything all at once. What is the one, small, simple thing you feel excited to do today? Will you maybe start a little compost pail on your kitchen counter? Or maybe just spend 5 minutes outside watching where the sun falls? Just pick one thing, and let that be the beginning of your journey.